Gulfport police officer is off the job after he was charged with obtaining prostitution. Noah Noble obtained the affidavit that details this misdemeanor crime the former officer is accused of.
Curran Smith was an off-duty Gulfport police officer when he ended up on the wrong side of a multi-agency human trafficking operation at a Biloxi casino on April 23rd. According to the affidavit, Smith responded to an online advertisement and agreed to pay a prostitute $60 for a, quote, QV. That's prostitution lingo for quick visit. But investigators say he wasn't chatting with a sex worker, he was chatting with an undercover law enforcement officer. The affidavit says the advertisement was posted on a website where potential trafficked victims post sexual ads. Investigators say they told Smith to meet at Treasure Bay Casino, room 124. That's where local, state, and federal officers were waiting to make the arrest. Smith was taken into custody without incident, the affidavit reads. The Mississippi Attorney General's office conducted the operation with the help from Biloxi PD, Harrison County Sheriff's Office, MBI, and the FBI. Gulfport Police Department says Smith was pulled from law enforcement duties after notification from the AG's office, and then he resigned. Police Chief Adam Cooper saying in a statement, "Every day I am overwhelmingly proud of the men and women of the Gulfport Police Department. We remain committed to maintaining the highest standards of integrity and accountability, and we expect all personnel to uphold the law both on and off duty." Smith is charged with procuring prostitution, a misdemeanor for alleged first-time offenders. If convicted, he faces a maximum $200 fine and up to 6 months in jail. I'm Noah Noble for WLOX News Now.